And today we talk about turning data into decisions with real-time data and Microsoft Fabric. As I said already, my name is Sander, short for Alexander. I'm a principal architect within the SDG Group. And I'm also a Microsoft MVP. That's an award that you can win for community contributions, like blogs, like presentations, like workshops. And in this case, I'm awarded for both Internet of Things and real-time intelligence, which is a perfect combination. So today we dive a little bit into real-time intelligence. We check out how to build a IoT platform or other platforms on real-time insights. And we look into what Microsoft offers with Microsoft Fabric, real-time intelligence. And well, not a single presentation can be without agents. So there will be agents in this talk also. But be aware, customers are not directly interested in IoT. It's the same with the water that you get from your house, from your water tap. You're probably not saying, well, look at this, I have water from a water tap. No, it's the fact that you are thirsty, or you want to cook, or you want to wash your dishes. You need water. And the same goes with customers. Customers want to have value. Value comes from insights. Insights comes from data. And you get that data via IoT. So solutions that we build from a IoT perspective usually look a little bit like this. This is how it's done in the Azure Platform as a Service solution. So we start, of course, with something locally near the device, and that could be a edge solution like this device. This is an industrial PC. It runs on Linux or Windows, Docker containers. It has network connectivity. It's rigid, and that device that can send data to a cloud gateway for the ingestion, and the data that comes in is then forwarded to a database. Basically, we go for a time series database because that's one that's optimized for telemetry. And we can do some transformations on the data. And from there, we go to insights like dashboarding, reporting. And we go for actions that we say, okay, there's something wrong with the raw data, or there's something in there in the raw data. It's already marked as an alert. That can be turned into a email message or a Teams message, or actually a ticket in some ticketing system. But we can also look at the incoming data when it's more into typed format, or like a medallion architecture, the silver and the gold format. We can look at the data from, well, over the last 5 minutes, or if there's actually a seasonal trend, that can be done. So see this as an example of real-time intelligence. We can ingest data within seconds, not in hours or in days. We are not doing batching, which is still there around in the world, and it will be there for years. But we are able to work with data within seconds. Think about logging or security audits, financial data, data about customers in shops, or doing fraud detection on whatever. It's there. You want to react within in seconds, or at least not every one day. And enterprises start to understand that there's value in following the devices or customers or transactions. So the freshness of the data, and the moment between it, the moment that the event, the immutable observation was generated, and the moment that people can act on it, becomes more and more important regarding going from days to hours to minutes to seconds. And that's really a move within the enterprise. And we as SDG, because we have built up that experience over the last 10 years with Internet of Things, we can duplicate the same knowledge and experience on more regular enterprise-like real-time intelligence. And we are not alone with it. Microsoft started 2 years ago with a new initiative, a new platform for low-code and no-code data analytics, with the ease of the user interface as seen in Power BI. Users can now also work with ingesting data or creating databases or doing analytics on the data. But a solid foundation in that part is real-time intelligence. It's one of the pillars of Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft also understands that real-time intelligence is becoming more and more important. So if we look a little bit closer in what Microsoft is offering in their Microsoft Fabric environment for real-time intelligence, it's quite a broad amount of items that they offer, and it follows the same model that we've seen. We start with streaming data into the platform. We can analyze and store that data. We can do some modeling on that data to transform it. We can visualize it, and we can also take decisions on the data. And today we will look into a number of these services, like the event stream, event house, etc. And to go a little bit deeper in how that connects, we have something that produces telemetry. That could be weather data, that could be data from sensors, that could be logs. That data is then consumed by an event stream. From there, the data is forwarded to an event house, and an event house is a time series database that can do medallion architecture conversions or translations or filtering on the data that comes in, even enrichment. And from there, we can start acting on that data that comes in, either raw from the event stream directly to the so-called activator, or we can use the event house as a source with custom queries to, for example, send a message towards Teams. And last but not least, there's dashboarding. Of course, Microsoft Fabric knows Power BI, but next to Power BI, we also have real-time dashboards and even dashboards which are specialized in geospatial data maps. If we look at that ingestion part, the event stream, I highlighted a number of sources which are typically for IoT, for Internet of Things. But as you can see, there are many more sources and connectors. There are dozens of connectors that we can use for ingesting data. We can even use SAP connectors to get SAP data into our solution. The data is then ingested, and you can do some processing transformation with a no-code experience, just drag and drop, or you can use SQL commands for turning that, for transforming that data. And from there, the data is forwarded, for example, to actions, the rules, or it's forward to one of the data storage solutions within Fabric. Regarding the data storage solution, it's called Event House. If you're familiar with Azure Data Explorer, it's the same product, because Microsoft Fabric is based on the foundation of Azure PaaS solutions. So everything you see in Fabric, it's there in Azure Platform as a Service. In this case, we are looking at the event house where we can ingest data from many sources, not only from the event stream, but there are many more ways to ingest the data. And the data will then be basically go through a transformation pipeline running inside the database. So you go from bronze raw data to silver type data. And if you have specific reporting, you can work with gold data. And from there, the data can be consumed by the real-time dashboard, by Power BI, or even by agents, which we will look at later on. So that's a lot of new resources to look at, but why not do a demo? Let's do a demo on this one. So I have to change to another page. I think it's this one. Yeah. And today I brought with me a number of sensors just to make it a more visible. This is a ambient sensor, temperature, humidity. There's no battery in this one because it just harvests light from lamps inside the building. And I have with me a GPS tracker on the camera. So this is a GPS tracker. By the way, this is working with LoRa communication. So if there's a LoRa gateway in the neighborhood, we can actually see data. And as you can see, I have, regarding the ambient sensors, 2 of them. One just sent a message 4 minutes ago. And the other one, that's the one that I have in my hand. The last time it communicated was 9 hours ago, because there's no LoRa network here available at this moment. But okay, that's not a problem. We have still the other one. So if we look at the live data that comes in from one of those sensors, if I can click on it, yeah, there it is. We see that we get humidity and light and temperature and even the voltage of the battery, which is really nice. But this is how the data comes in from a sensor. In Fabric, we will start ingesting that data with a service like EventStream. And from there, the data will be picked up and forwarded to a store. From there, it will be consumed with data visualization items. We can put activators on it, and we can even work with agents. So let's look into that a little bit further. This is the portal of Microsoft Fabric. And as you can see, it's just a visual solution. So we can click on stuff and we can look at data. And we can alter this just with point and click. There's not that much code to be typed in. And we see the data at the bottom of that sensor coming in. It's streaming right now. And the data that comes in is forwarded either to the event house, the database, or it's forwarded to an activator for eventing, for alerts. So this is how it comes in. From there, let's take a look at the database. And this is live, so I hope everything works, and it seems it works. The demo gods are good to us today. This is the database, and if we look at the database in detail, oh, there, that's always the demo effect. When the data comes in, it will be stored in a bronze table. Once data comes in the bronze table, automatically the data is forwarded and parsed with functions towards either the silver ambient table, that's the one where temperature, humidity is put in, and the other one is with the tracker that I have, the GPS tracker, with GPS locations in there. So let's take a little bit closer look on that one. So this is the ambient table. And as you can see, this is just from a, this is, let me sort it. This is from today, the data. And we have the humidity and temperature, light and battery. And as you can see, its UTC time is just an hour ago, 1 hour old. So that's working. And regarding the tracker information, let's take the other table. And there we see that I have the GPS, the latitude and longitude, and the battery level. So it seems that I have to connect the charger to it. It's at 65%. So this is how the data comes into the database, and we can do querying on that data. We can do reporting on that data. So I already cooked a real-time dashboard on top of it. And that means that I use the Cakewell query language, which is the custom query language for each of the panels. And I can automate this, I can refresh this page within seconds every time automatically. And here we see from the temperature sensor that I have at home that the temperature is coming in. We see the amount of light. This is during the last 12 hours. So let's go back to the last 7 days. And now we see that I have the temperature and humidity over the last 7 days. And we also see the peaks of the lights at day and, well, it's dark during the night. This is how I can do some real-time dashboarding. I can put alerting on top of this, but I also have a map for all the measurements regarding latitude and longitude. And as you can see, yesterday I went to the office in Rotterdam. I live near Eindhoven, and I took a ride to Microsoft few days ago, and even to Hoorn. And this looks nice, but okay, this is not the best map that I expect. I can expect more from a map, and that's available for me. Because just recently, 1 month ago, Microsoft introduced a new map component with layers, and you can work with GeoJSON on top of it. So as you can see, I have a number of layers in there, and it's the data is loaded. And as you can see, at this moment, I am here at the Eindhoven office. I can actually see that I am, well, let's put a layer on it. I'm in Noord-Brabant. And here are the buildings that we have in the Netherlands, including Microsoft headquarters. I put some geofence circles around it. There you see the green geofence of a few hundred meters, so I can see if I arrived at a certain location. Actually, let me check where I crossed that. Well, and as you can see, I crossed the geofence a number of times the last 24 hours, but I can also look, let me see the complete ride for the last 24 hours. And as I said, yesterday I went to the office in Rotterdam. I also crossed the borders over there. And I can also look at the complete historical data with lines from where I was driving over the last couple of days. So this is a really nice way, but last but not least, we can also put an actions on top of this. In this case, I have checked if I was crossing a geofence over the last 5 minutes, and if I have that, I get a warning. And as you can see, let me check that over the last 24 hours. But here you can see that I arrived this morning at the office, and here we see all the events of geofence messages. So at this moment, I am at the office, and once every while I get a message. At this moment, it's a function, but it could have been an email, or it could have been Teams. But yeah, then I'm flooding my email inbox with all these messages. That's maybe not a wisest solution. So as you can see, I can build a IoT solution, Internet of Things streaming solutions within days or hours using Fabric. And what we've seen, we can ingest the data, we can store it in a database, we can put alerting on top of it, we can use dashboarding, and we can use even a map on top of it. And that's really great. But what about agents? What about people who are not able to work with the K-12 query language that much, and they want to use natural language? Well, Microsoft is offering a data agent in Fabric where you can use natural language on top of Lakehouse, which is a delta table format storage for context data. It's used slow-moving batched data. And it can also look at event house data. That's the real-time data. And of course, it will try to figure out what's happening in the data that it is provided. So please start to think about adding context. It's possible to give the agent extra instructions regarding its role and more detailed information about the data sources that you're using. You can even provide sample queries. So let's take a look at that one. Now, until now, we have seen that we work with the real-time data. I also stored created a number of tables in a lakehouse. These are basically SQL, part of a SQL endpoint where we can use context data from files. And think of that the sensors that I have are represented by a sensor, and a sensor is part of a production line. Production line has operators, and technicians work on it with work orders. In a relational model, these are related together with each other. Here, they're just files and tables, but I created a data agent on top of it. And here you can see that the data agent in the middle has a number of instructions. To the right, I can use a prompt to ask questions about the data. And to the left, you see which data sources it is using. So we see the operator table, the sensor table, etc. And we also see the ambient telemetry coming in and the tracker data coming in. So let's ask the agent a question about, well, something like, what can you tell about the sensor data? And it will start, and let me close this one. And it will start reasoning on the telemetry that it sees, and it will also make use of those instructions about the role, and instructions about the audience that it has, and it can even look at data from about instructions on how to use the tables. And here you can see that it's able to understand that there's something with the temperature, humidity, and with light. There's battery data, and that's interesting. But okay, I don't see the tracker data in there. So let me ask about that. Also, I have to copy paste my sample queries. So I ask it, what can it tell about real-time data of the GPS trackers? And again, it will try to figure out that the silver tracker table is a GPS tracker data table. And with a little bit of luck, we will see that it actually is able to, well, it says that there's no data coming in, and that's true because my tracker also has not a good fix on the data that comes in. But it cannot show current positions. That's a pity. But I also want to know about that relational stuff about operators, production lines, and technicians. Maybe it can tell something about that. So let's see what happens. And again, this is live, so it's always interesting that what the answer will be with an agent, because every time it will start telling something else. And it understands that there are 2 production lines. And it also sees that each production line has a number of operators. So it is able to see that the data is connected to each other, which is quite nice. So be aware, working with this will take a number of minutes to set up, but you have to be really thoughtful about the instructions that you have to give regarding data sources. That can take days or even weeks. Once you're there, your agent is running as expected, and users can use it if they have the permissions. You can also publish the endpoint of this agent. The agent can be made part of an automated solution. If you have somebody who is able to code, they can code against this endpoint and make use, if they have the right permissions, they can make use of the logic inside this agent. So this makes Fabric very powerful. Even people without any knowledge about telemetry, they can start reasoning about it. So we've seen how this is all connected together. But this is not where it stops. Microsoft last week introduced Fabric IQ, and they offered a new set of new solutions on top of the stuff that we are already doing. The anomaly detector, ontology, operational agent. And although this is all in public preview, so don't go tell your customer they can use it tomorrow already. It is there, and you can try it out yourself. So we have the anomaly detector, which makes it possible, if you have data and you think, well, there could be an anomaly in this data, Microsoft Fabric will provide you a number of anomaly solutions, the functionality, and you can pick and choose the right anomaly detector for you with the least amount of false positive and false negatives. And you can even automate it into an action that you say, if an anomaly occurs, let me get an email or a Teams call or a ticket in a ticketing system. So Microsoft is making anomaly detection available for those who are not a data scientist. And you just have seen that I had some trouble with that relational stuff between operators, production lines. I can provide it to the agent, but then the agent has to guess how everything is connected with each other. So Microsoft is now providing a graph database. It's called Fabric Ontology, a graph database where you can connect and model your organization, the relation between all the entities in your organization, and even start to add the real-time data on top of it. And you can start querying with the data. And this also will be made available towards a agent. It's now an agent does not have to guess about the relationships. And last but not least, once you have an agent which is able to look at relational data on a graph of an ontology of a organization, and it can look at the real-time data that's coming in, Microsoft is providing the operations agent. This is a service that you can give a playbook with all the rules that you have within that ontology. These combinations are never available, or this value must never exceed a certain level. This operational agent will then start running in the background, look at your data as a junior data analyst or a junior engineer, and it will observe the data, it will analyze it, it will make decisions, it will ask you in a Teams conversation, I've seen something, is this something that we should react on or not? You can say at some point, well, actually you can act on it yourself, the agent. So this is the next level way to work with agents within Fabric. And I have some time left, so I do a little extra demonstration, because this is public preview, but I already got it working. And these are the sensors, the two sensors that I have, one at home and one here in my hand. And we can see that data from the sensor at home is still working, and the other one, the data stopped. And that's okay, because it's a demonstration. But as you can see, the data is coming from this ambient sensor, which has a relation to a product line. And if we look at a product line, let me check there it is. We can see that a product line has a relationship with the ambient sensor. I have here a solution in which I can start connecting all the dots, all the entities within the data, the tables, and I can make relationships between them, which is perfect. Because now, if I put a data agent on top of it, I can use the ontology, so not just the separate monolithic tables and real-time data and contextual data. No, I have a real ontology. And if I ask something like, well, which operator has access to certain sensors, now it understands that it has to look at the production line, which lays between the operators and the sensors. And here you can see the outcome, which is already pre-produced, but this I could try this out again, but just to save some time. This is how it's presented. And I can start asking questions also about the temperature sensor from the production line. And this is not guessing. It's actually using the relational model, the graph, the ontology behind this environment. So this makes the the agent much more reliable. So we see that with the ontology, we can at this moment make the graph, and soon we will be able to add rules. We can add actions, and we can add an operational agent on top of it. And again, also from this second agent, I could take the endpoint. And if I want to have endpoints from multiple agents being connected into one solution, I can make use of Foundry IQ, another product from Microsoft, all about agents and machine learning and artificial intelligence. I can start combining multiple agents into one single agent. So this is very promising. And Again, it's coming soon. It's demonstrated last week, so it will be there in the coming months. So with that, I want to give you a few takeaways. First of all, real-time insights is something that is there, and customers are asking for it much more and more. And if you combine it with agentic abilities, this is really a game changer, because now you can make decisions on top of that data that comes in with the ease of point and click. If you want to know more, please check me or my team, our team, because we have experience with this. The same goes for Microsoft Fabric, which is a mature data platform, an agent platform for context data and real-time data. So I would say try it out yourselves. Try tinkering with it, play with the data agents, with the ontology. The operations agents will be there in a couple of days, and play around with Fabric Maps. And with this, conversational AI is expanding in Microsoft Fabric. And we've seen the standard data agents which are there, but the fact that we also have MCP support on top of the agents, and we have Foundry IQ integration, this is really, really a nice solution to work with that can be used with many customers. So with that, I want to thank you for being there